Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, let's fix the camera here a little bit. So things might be a little weird today because I got a new monitor stand. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't like that angle at all. It's hard for me to see myself, but it's my camera is much higher because I got a new monitor stand and all of my monitors are at the same height now. And so now you get to see more of the top of my head. So you're welcome. Anyways, we kind of got an interesting setup here today. You know, I say that a lot, but here's the weird thing about today. Well, let's do the volume profile charts first. Okay, we've kind of, oh, that's not what I wanted, the 10-year. Okay, so we had this big move down off of the Brexit stuff earlier in the week, and we've kind of been in this range. You know, yesterday we didn't go very far at all. Then overnight, they were able to push a new low. Finally, they were able to get to 22.5, 16. There's still some targets down on the downside. I believe 11 is the next big one down there. But then it's reversed and come higher. I'm seeing news that there is an agreement again with Brexit. By the way, where's my Twitter? Yeah, there's a Brexit agreement, and that's what pushes down. But, big but, oh man, I'm too loud. Big but, they have to approve it. And it's sounding doubtful, but I don't actually know what the chances are. And you can see when we come over here into the DOM, and the thing that's weird about today, the liquidity below us is actually better. So we've been putting around 1,200 on. Now we're getting close to 2,000 on a lot of the prices below us, but above us it is still extremely light. And for the first 4 prices above us, there is only 900, which to me is don't trade. So, not quite sure what we're going to do or what the deal is for that. Let's go and look and see what kind of, oh man, why am I having, oh, okay. My windows are all out of order. Do we have news? What news do we have? I'm pretty sure we have some housing related news today, right? Let's see here. Today is Thursday. At 6:30, building permits, housing starts, unemployment claims. Okay. We also have 2 Fed speakers today. What are they speaking at? Due to speak at a Fed Listens event hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. And Evans, due to speak at also same event. And then Williams, 3 today. Due to speak at a Managed Funds Association Outlook in conference in New York. Audience questions expected. Okay. And then for Friday, there's not really anything. US CB leading index is typically not a big mover. So this week was light on news, and maybe that's why we've just kind of been the way that we've been. Next week doesn't look too great either. Core durable goods is like the most significant piece of news on Thursday. And then the end of the month, we get the federal funds rate. So it's an interesting thing. I was here, I'll pull it up. CNBC. Sorry, I was reading this morning. Let's see if it's still there. The Federal Reserve could soon pause in its latest rate-cutting cycle, says CNBC. The Federal Reserve could soon pause in its latest rate-cutting cycle, and depending on economic data and developments in trade talks, that could happen at or more likely after the October 29th to 30th meeting. Okay, so like, what what economic data? Like, there's no more significant data this month. Like, what are you waiting? You're waiting for the housing data? Is that what's gonna make the Federal Reserve decide if they want to cut 4 times this year or not? That doesn't pass the smell test. CNBC, get better writers. Maybe I should write for CNBC. I'm not a huge fan of this. Oh, it was Steve. Steve's a smart guy. What are you talking about, Steve? What? I don't know. I don't know. After October, November data is going to be interesting for sure. Lucas says clowns. Oh yeah. So then Uzi is pointing out that Elijah Cummings has died. And I'm just like, who cares? Sorry. To me, it was ridiculous that he was getting as much attention as he was before. He's a what was the phrase that Donald Trump used for Nancy Pelosi at the meeting yesterday that was all going on the rounds, and he was a second-rate politician and deserved the attention. I don't think. So, anyways, what do you guys think about the camera? Tell me about the camera, because to me, you just get too much of my head. That's the problem. I have to move it. I could move it over here. Well, I'd have to do a ton to move it, so I can't move it right now. Oh, we got news in 15 seconds, so let's keep an eye on that. So what is the numbers that we're looking for? Okay, so we're looking for building permits to come in at 1.34 versus previous of 1.43. Housing starts 1.32 versus previous of 1.36. And unemployment claims to come in at 212K. Got about 15 seconds here. The market is pulling pretty significantly. I also think I need to, the funny thing is I think I need my monitor a little bit higher too. Ugh. Eurosceptic figurehead Nigel Farage says new UK deal not Brexit, quote unquote. Okay, the news is out. 214K for unemployment claims, so two more than expected. Bad, but pretty insignificant. Housing starts missed 1.26 versus a expected 1.32, and building permits was 1.39, better than expected versus the 1.34. Okay. Treasuries are moving a little bit higher off of that, probably because the housing starts this week, but it's curious that building permits were higher. I think that's actually, no, it's not actually the highest, because previous was 1.43, so it's still less building permits than last month, but not as bad as we expected. You can see, though, the market moved up a little bit, but it's kind of turned around. And they're leaving a little bit more liquidity behind them as they do it, too. Could maybe be worth a short here, but it's not a signal, so. I don't know. I don't know what to do, folks. Well, I'll tell you one thing I can do. New webcam. That would help, probably. I could attach it to the bottom, and then you could see my, my neck beard instead. You think that would be better than the top of my head? I mean, the top of my head isn't bad looking. You get interesting reflections. It's kind of interesting. You think, if only, you know how there's there's streamers out there Well, there's guys out there that are really into big-bodied women, and there's streamers out there that stream all of their big-bodied activities, and they're actually somewhat popular. Why isn't there that sort of a thing for guys but bald head? Huh? This should be a thing. Girls want to watch guys stream with bald heads. Why isn't that a thing? It was good movement in ZP says IQ, yeah. Was it? Well, I mean, it was 4 ticks, but it's better than nothing. I'm kind of wondering, though, if that's the start of a significant sell. I mean, the pressure overall this week, almost every day when we've been looking at it, it's been the same thing, right? We don't get signals except for on the downside. Okay, right now I am getting maybe a tepid signal in the 5-year. But it seems like it's not until I see the signals in the 30-year that it turns around. Probably because the spread. So this is something that we should watch. Is which instrument do we get the signal on? Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, I need to put a
YouTube IQ focus young man.
Focus young man. Look at that iceberg at 30. Okay, so there was an iceberg at 30. 5K iceberg was a relatively large cell iceberg. They ate through it. 1,000 are now eating into 30 half. I'm really feeling like selling it, but I can't. I don't have anything to justify my desire to sell it. Those icebergs is not enough. And the trend, overall, the trend is up. Overall, the trend is up. Forex Live, drop in U.S. housing starts was all on the multifamily side, down 28.2%. Single family was up 0.3%. So they aren't building as many apartments, basically. Well, that makes it significantly less negative, right? Because it's really the homes is the one that they're worried about. But it is still really low, right? What was the... So if we come back here and pull that number up. Housing starts. Okay, so what would be a good number? Oh, that number from last month, that 1.43, was actually one of the highest ones in recent memory. Very interesting. But if I go back further to like 2008, they were in the twos. 2 million. Curious. And in 2017, we were reading 1.32. So, well, it is getting hot in here. My thermostat has not been cooperating with me lately. Oh, while we're at it, while we're waiting, I wanted to take some pictures. So why don't we do that? Duplicate in new window. No, why did that end up being so big? And I want my my range histogram on here. I'll remove all this stuff. No, don't need that. Don't even need that. And my stats. What else do I want? Come over here into Evernote. I have a little note with all of the ones that are important. Bum 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 ba dum ba dum bum. Just that for now. Okay. Something happening. Okay. Forget why I have that little number outputting at the end of my stats. So there was a little spike up, but then it exhausted again. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Lawmakers approved plan to hold special Saturday sitting in Parliament to debate and vote on Brexit deal. So I still think it's a cell. Well, look at that. I'm not getting anything that tells me I get. Well, I suppose like maybe I could have sold that 130.
He doesn't have the votes to pass.
You don't think he has the votes to pass? So explain to me how you know that. When if they didn't, would they even set something up? Because in the United States, a special meeting to debate the merits, blah 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 blah. They wouldn't do that unless they thought that it was going to pass, unless the Speaker of the House thought it was going to pass. They don't. It's kind of the thing. It's like if you put something out there and then it fails, it tends to look really bad, and so they don't like doing that. No, I did not get that very well. My picture.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Corbyn stated the deal was worse than Theresa May's. The DUP leader stated
Who
no
cares
vote.
what Corbyn thinks? The DUP later stated no vote, though, huh? Okay, UK Prime Minister Johnson says now is the moment for us to get Brexit done. Says future partnership can be incredibly positive for UK and EU. Says we are a quintessential European country. What? Johnson said we are a quintessential European country. What does that mean? That is not what I would expect Johnson to say. Does that surprise you, Greg? This is kind of weird. By the way, where do you live, Greg? I don't recall. Now, the one that surprised me, remember, was Nigel Farage saying that it basically wasn't Brexit. Now, that one really surprised me.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Yes, it's Mo very breakaway sounding smiley face, Downingtown, PA 30 west of the horrible city of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. It's not very breakaway sounding. I don't know. It's that I don't understand enough about European politics to understand what's going on, to be honest. It seems a little off to me. The market reaction seems a little off to me. New low and then back up. That couldn't possibly be because of I don't think that could be.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. There are so many political parties.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not a fan. Here's the thing. I think that human nature is us versus them. You know, did you know that there are scientists went into the jungle and studied monkeys, and they followed this set of monkeys for a really, really long time. And these monkeys had like a war. And it was like if they saw a monkey from the other tribe, they just kill them. And it wasn't just that, they were like hunting them down. And the one tribe basically genocided the other monkeys. So when people were saying like only humans are so callous and could be capable of war, monkeys do it. And it seems to me that the in-group, out-group sort of a thing, when you look at the way things were, especially during the Ice Age, evolutionarily speaking, I think that's the best way to kind of try and understand something like this. Resources were going to be scarce, and your ability to stick together as a tribe and beat out other tribes for their resources was what determined if your tribe lived or died. And so we as humans have a very heavily ingrained in-party, out-party instinct. And I believe that it's best that the political parties reflect that. And I know everybody hates that. I mean, everybody wishes that we were all just together, and of course that's your instinct. But when you have two groups of people that view an issue differently, and they go head to head, and they're both fighting their hardest, and they figure something out, and if they can't figure something out, then nothing happens. That has worked out so well in the United States. Of course, it led to the Civil War, so we can't say that it's perfect. But a lot of the good decisions in the United States came about because they were forced to compromise, and because of the headbutting. In Europe, on the other hand, they break that model, right? Because there's like 20 parties. And they try and form a coalition and everything, but you don't have quite the same in-party, out-party dynamic that you do in the United States. And I think that it's led to poor decisions in Europe. I think that because of that, they took on a lot of socialist policies that ended up being bad. And, you know, they had to live through like 2 decades of low economic growth until they realized how dumb it was. Because the third party kind of splits people up and allows certain parties that are to be more successful based on the way that they operate rather than the effectiveness of their ideas or their popular support. Why isn't it
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Seth, I have a favorite dark red Adidas baseball cap. It is almost maroon in color. Stopped wearing due to the looks and a few comments in parking lots.
Really? I'm not surprised. Well, and that's another thing that's interesting about it is that was like, yeah, I'm sure that early on it was just the way that you looked. So if you had dark skin or whatever it is, that's the only way.
Lucas, don't allow to be bullied around.
You know, that was the only way that people could recognize their tribe was what you look like. And I'm having a hard time getting this to be where I want it. There, I think that's better. And then later on, it was going to be based on what you wear. Hence the hat thing. Right? The Make America Great Again hat is so perfect because, you know, usually they do shirts and most people don't want to wear a shirt, but a hat is an accessory that you usually don't wear that you can just put on to show your tribe. And then of course, people's instinct is to attack that when they find out that you're from the opposing tribe. So it's brilliant, but then it also causes a lot of issues, doesn't it? What I wonder what it would be like if the liberals had come up with a clothing article. You know, I don't know what kind of a clothing article liberals would do. It would have to be something a little bit more classy than a hat. But New York Fed accepts 73 billion of 73 billion in bids at overnight repo operation. So they're still eating up everything that they're putting out. 29 seems to be hard support. I don't know if they're going to beat it out or not. We're below where there was those large icebergs, so I don't know. Still don't feel confident trading this area, especially now. I mean, I think that the pressure is down, but you don't get good risk reward, and it's not giving me very clear turns either.
YouTube, Lucas, it feels random to just click and sell here.
Feels random to just click and sell here. Yeah. Well, I think the reason why I'm feeling the way that I do is because I've been conditioned. Like it's been the right decision almost all week has been sell.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Hi Lucas, it's just me, and usually with a daughter in tow or an aging parent in a wheelchair. Tough to fight the groups. If you understand.
Yeah. Phil, well, you know, my understanding is that things can get rough out there in Philadelphia. Yeah. That's one of the areas of the United States where you can get a much wide, like the people in the central city are very different from the people out in the suburbs in Philadelphia, is my understanding. You know, extremely divergent demographics.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Please don't visit.
Please don't
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Still think selling is the better odds.
I would visit. You know, I would really. I should travel more. I don't like not traveling because then I don't exercise and then I have to catch up on that, and it's usually not fun. But I would like to go to DC again. I haven't been with. I went when I was single, and I'd like to go back with my wife and the kids. I'd like to go to DC. I'd like to visit Chicago, although I don't know what I would do in Chicago, but at least visit the exchange. You know, I would like to do that. White House advisor Kudlow says Fed is moving in the right direction, meaning he would like 4 rate cuts. Anyways, yeah, there's lots of places I like to go visit, and I could come and visit some of you guys because I can fly anywhere I want for free, right? So it would be easier for me to come to you guys than vice versa. Although if you do come to Utah, you should say hi.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Maybe you get to meet the guy who takes all our money, lol. YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Trump just tweeted a nice Cummings.
My warmest condolences to the family and many friends of Congressman Elijah Cummings. I got to see firsthand the strength, passion, and wisdom of this highly respected political leader. His work and voice on so many fronts will be very hard, if not impossible, to replace. That is not what you said when you guys were fighting. Oh my gosh. That's YouTube, kind of funny.
Knesset. Oh Lord, they're gonna tear him apart over that.
They are gonna. Yeah, there's gonna be what's that subreddit where Trump contradicts Trump? They are gonna have a field day with that. You know what? I don't know. It's from a PR perspective, it's probably the right thing to do, but I don't know, man. Because if he didn't say anything, they would probably also savage him for that, right? So that 29 kind of offered some support for us a bit. And now we went lower, and now it's kind of offering resistance, but we didn't just like collapse.
YouTube Ekareo, what you mean when you say you can fly for free?
I mean, I can fly for free. My wife is a flight attendant, and so I have to get on with standby. So there has to be like open seats
YouTube
on the flight.
Greg Orlovsky, a 915E ST Econ.
Is there? What's on 915? Let's look. Anyways, so if there's empty seats on the flight, I can go anywhere and fly anywhere I want to. Industrial production and capacity utilization rate. And I can, if I fly to a foreign country, there's usually a landing tax, so all I have to do is pay the landing tax, which can actually be expensive. But that means I could fly to Europe for like $100 because my wife is a flight attendant. I shouldn't brag about that. I think they tell you not to brag, but I'm just saying. I've been thinking.
YouTube Ekareo, I got to marry a flight attendant also.
Oh yeah, I have to say, well, there are some downsides to flight attendants, although I personally haven't had a problem. But apparently, flight attendants get divorced at higher rates. But but there's some real advantages to flight attendants. And she's much more, what is the word, like cognizant of what you need, I guess. Although it's been kind of weird lately. Ever since she got pregnant, she kind of acts like she just doesn't care about anything. I think she's just tired, but I'm honestly a little concerned.
Knesset, all it takes is a pilot LMAO.
There you go. Yeah, all it takes is a pilot. Well, the thing is, flight attendants, a lot of the trips, although my wife is generally able to get trips that are just like day trips, you go on like a 3-day trip or something. And when you do a trip like that, you spend a lot of time with the pilot and the other flight attendants and stuff. You get to know those people pretty well. And yeah. And that group of people tends to be a little promiscuous, we'll say. So she's never done anything, but her ex-husband was a pilot, and he was gay, and he was, oh my gosh, for like 10 years, and she had no clue all of the crazy stuff that he was doing behind her back.
YouTube Uzi Knesset, my wife's company clean for a pilot. I got nervous when she went and did the bit LMAO.
That's funny, man. Nah, I think it's just, you know what, when you spend too much time with people, you notice, I was thinking about this the other day, Greg, when you were saying, when you get older, you don't talk to as many people. And when you said that, like, my first thought was,
YouTube Greg Orlovsky, I've been a general aviation pilot since 1991.
Oh.
Met many airline guys, lots of drinkers and a holes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking, it seems to me like after you get married that you just don't talk to people anymore.
YouTube Uzi Knesset, I think he was gay too though, lol.
Oh man. It was funny because I have a guy in my gym who's gay, and actually there's a couple.
YouTube
there's
Ace
more than
Trades
one.
Morning.
And he just recently became a pilot. And it took him a long time, because I told him who the ex was and everything, but it took a long time for him to put 2 and 2 together. And the ex is like, it runs some sort of activity. I don't want to say activity, but like an association of like gay people within the flight industry or something of that nature, And it took him a long time to put 2 and 2 together about who it was. When he's like, oh yeah, him. They're always, I tend to keep to myself, but they're always doing stuff, always throwing parties and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Not implying anything. I'm just saying. I'm sure they are. But my wife she's quiet. She can be quiet. She's not. Get out. My ex was, how do I describe? I'm going ugh because she has had such a unique personality. It's very hard to explain. Somebody actually wrote a play and in like one of my old wards and made a character, one of the characters based off of her because they thought that she was so interesting. And she liked to get out. So when we, had gone, oh, how long was I married? 8 years, and we didn't have any kids. We just ended up doing a lot of stuff. Like we would do the DJ thing for a while. That was one of the things that she would do with me. And man, that. But we were only doing that because we didn't have anything else to do because we hadn't been able to have kids yet. She was too infertile. So, yeah, like we stayed out. But now this time it's like we got married and we have kids, and then it's like don't really care to go and do anything with anybody. That would be like too much work. That would be too much work. Like meeting Ace, like I'm out trying to plan it. We're gonna have to do next Friday, I guess, because it's a holiday this weekend. But like I'm trying to do it on a day when the kids are gone, right? White House advisor Kudlow says U.S. will use sanctions and may use more sanctions to keep Turkey in line. The Turkey thing is interesting. What do you guys think about the Turkey thing? Because when I go on Reddit, man, or you read the news, they sound so upset, don't they? So upset that we left our allies hanging or something, They say something like that. And I'm like, I ain't risking my life for the PKK. Heck no. If you're concerned about it, you go. I'm not interested. No, thank you.
YouTube, Life of a Day Trader. I like my turkey fried.
I like my turkey fried. Be careful that somebody might misinterpret that one. Listen, here in Utah, we had Enos
YouTube,
Cantor.
Stickball, ISIS is gone equals mission complete.
Who is
YouTube, Ace Trades at Life of a Day Trader dead on.
Who I say probably the most prominent Turk in the United States. And I'm kind of mad about how he left and he does some stupid things and stuff. But I feel that, overall, he's a good guy. But the Peshmerga...
YouTube Ace Trades 3001.25 might be a good short if it comes back down.
Can't take it. I'm not getting enough activity. He's probably going to take it and they're just going to sell the crap out of the E-mini today. And I'm going to be like, I should have taken it. Because that's what always happens when I say that. Right? Oh, yes, I was writing something, so I got to finish writing this.
YouTube Ace Trades, not always, sometimes it's a bust. YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Trump looks bad. Turkey was considered ally. Best video, ABC showing Kurds getting slaughtered. But video was a gun event in Kentucky.
Well, I think that Trump looks bad. I don't know. Here's the thing. He is making an interesting point. His point is that foreign intervention of that nature never works out. Now, if I was president, I would not keep people there. Or rather, let me rephrase. If Turkey comes out and says, hey, we're attacking there tomorrow. Literally tomorrow, we're going in. Because that's what happened. Okay? The way that the media portrayed things was a little shady and
YouTube, Uzi
deceptive.
Lol ABC using the Knob Creek night shoot as war footage LMAO.
Yeah, listen, Well, I'll get it. There's something bigger going on, and I'll get to that in a second. But they were shady about the way that they presented it. They presented it as like Donald Trump just randomly decided to pull the people out, and then Turkey said, "Oh well, if they're gone, I guess we can move in now." That is not what happened. No, Ed Rogan came out and he said we are moving in 48 hours, and then Donald Trump said, "Well, I guess we better pull our people." Now, if I was president, would I pull our people or not? I'm not so sure. Because how was he just bluffing, or I have no way of knowing that. I'm not qualified to do that or to make that kind of a decision. But I will tell you one thing: this kind of foreign intervention tends not to work. And the big thing that I think I take away from Vietnam is the United States was doing the right thing without question. I think that some people on the left would try and make it seem like, oh, North Vietnam is not that bad, and you know what, communists are gonna communist, man. And there's people in the United States that are super liberal and think that communism is just great, and they're stupid stooges. But North Korea was absolutely horrible, terrible regime.
YouTube ace trades, multi-lots take first profit.
Good job. Absolutely terrible regime. They were, what they did to South Vietnam when they took over was awful. It was awful. The United States was doing the right thing by defending the South Vietnamese. But here's the problem. Here's why it never worked. Is their partner in the South Vietnamese government was not a reliable partner. There was rampant corruption. They were incompetent. They just were simply not up to the task of being an effective partner. Okay? And that is probably the biggest reason why the Vietnam War was such a failure, because the South Vietnamese government could never gain the public support of its people. And so the rebels in the South, what were they called? I can't even remember now. But the rebels teamed up with the guys in the North and undermined the government. And then, of course, we're going in there and bombing villages and everything, and then that made the Viet Cong. That's right.
Viet Cong.
The Viet Cong. They teamed up with the Viet Cong, and then they just turned it into a quagmire, right?
YouTube ace trades Viet Cong.
The VC.
YouTube ace trades VC.
And the VC just fought a guerrilla war until we left. When we left, then all of a sudden they were getting tanks from Russia and China and coming down the roads.
It was an amazing scene. OMG, the firepower was awesome. Great pyro explosions. But the crowd with IP1s and leaving the attendees in the video was funny.
Right. That video, I can't believe that I think from what I understand, somebody sent them that video telling them that that's what it was and cropped it for them, and they just bought it. So my understanding is that the media actually got suckered on that one, which is kind of funny, right? Anyways, Vietnam. Okay, there was the final offensive before the United States left, and the United States had all of these nice targets on the ground that they could focus their air power against, and it was great. And the army said this was the war that we came here to fight, But it wasn't until we were pretty much already pulled out that they were doing that sort of a stuff, right? So, anyways, the whole point is that's the way that you fight a war like that. Is if you can't win, then you just stall, and when you stall, you create all of this confusion, and people are unhappy about the situation, and you just sit around until the country loses its resolve and goes away, and then you run over them, right? So is that what you guys want to? Is that what people want to do in Turkey? Heck no. Listen, the Kurds are not would not be a reliable partner, in my opinion. There was a time period there where the Kurds in Iraq were almost completely autonomous. I remember watching documentaries on 60 Minutes about how they already had a president and everything like that. But when they had the opportunity to like really take control and maybe even like declare independence, then all of the Kurds started clashing with each other and they couldn't get anything done, right? And the fighters,
YouTube, Ace Trades, what does ISS and Little Miss Muffet have in common?
I don't know. You tell me. Hold on, wait here. Now, gotta type something.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, are Kurds good or bad for the US?
Well, the thing is I think that the Kurdish people in general would be great. I mean, they seem like they're great people, but the problem is they can't get their act together.
YouTube, Ace Trades, they both have Kurds in their way.
They both have Kurds in their way. I get it. But the group of fighters that have been helping the United States is designated as a terrorist
YouTube,
group.
Uzi Knesset, at Greg Orlovsky law, right? It was the worst attempt at fabricating news.
They are designated as a terrorist group. They kill people, mostly other Kurds, to try and get a state. So I'm just saying, okay, if you're going to mire yourself in an extended conflict, you better have a good partner, okay? Like if something was going on and my partner was the protesters in Hong Kong, that would be a great, reliable partner. Those student protesters, they got their stuff together. They believe in freedom. They, you know, if we got something together, I have every confidence that they would create a good Hong Kong government, something that the United States could work with as a partner to push out the Chinese. That would be a good partner. Okay, the UK, Israel, those would be good partners. But the PPK, that sounds to me like that reminds me too much of the South Vietnam government. And so, in my opinion, it's Donald Trump is absolutely right to not want to be invested in that area. And then the whole question and the thing where I think that the media has been deceptive is that they make it seem like this is only happening because Donald Trump pulled out. But the truth is that there's been a conflict brewing there for a long, long time, and Turkey was determined to go in. And he probably pulled out because he had every reason to believe that they were going to go in. And this is where, and here's why the media is being deceptive about it, all right? This is the conspiracy theory part. It's not really a conspiracy theory part, but there's two parts to it. And these are things you can go and you can confirm them, right? The first thing is that there was a group of people within the foreign policy sphere that believe that we should not be allied with Saudi Arabia. We should be allied with Iran. The Obama administration very much believed in this philosophy. And that is why they made the nuclear deal and everything like that. It's because they wanted to be allied with Iran and not Saudi Arabia. Because they're trying to play that thing between the different types of Muslims. Right? So there's that. And then there's the oil pipeline. I think maybe part of the reason why so many people are freaking out about this particular one, this one in particular, is because you got the... we might break down to the downside here. I'm sorry, but it affects the pipeline that they wanted to put through, and a lot of people are going to lose money off of it. But that's why it's going on, and in the long run, like 20 years from now, people are going to say he did the right thing. To 100%, when all of the facts are out, and
YouTube, Ace Trades, there is your 2 points.
There you go. You know, that one took a while, but it seemed like a good trade. I don't know if I'm still glad that I still did what I was supposed to do. So if it had really fallen, then maybe I would have been like, So it was coming down here in the Treasuries. They touched 28 And I was starting to see some evidence that they were pushing, but then they appear to have backed off. But it looked like somebody was trying to break the range. Well, it's probably going to depend on the 5-year.
YouTube ace trades, more on the way.
You think it's going to keep going down? Well, they could, that 29.92, the overnight, the overnight open. I think that would be a great spot that's extremely likely to touch. White House advisor says another 25 basis point cut would be good. Also, Donald Trump retweeting Senate Majority Leader McConnell. Washington Democrats have been engaged in a 3-year-long impeachment parade in search of a rationale. Prominent House Democrats were promising impeachment at the very beginning of his presidency. Fairness and due process are not their objectives here. Treasuries still I don't really see a whole lot of opportunity here. Sorry, I'm a little quiet for a second because I'm writing an email to somebody. Nate Silver, my main critique of Sanders' campaign is that he hasn't done enough traditional coalition building beyond his 15% base. I don't think the AOC Omar endorsements are hugely surprising, but this is a step in the right direction. I think he's right. And I've noticed something that I think is like really quintessential explanation for why Sanders is not doing as well. When you look at the number of offices and staffers in early voting states and who leads in that, it's Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg. That should be Sanders. Sanders has the most engaged, most loyal followers. They should be building out infrastructure all over the place. That's because that's your strength. Then you will have the people to do the groundwork and get the vote out. And he's not putting that in place. And that's why I think that that's the main reason why he's not doing as well. And I think that that's why the party insiders went to Elizabeth Warren. Junker tells me there must be no prolongation. It has to happen now. Has Johnson persuaded the EU to say it's genuinely this deal or no deal, no delay? And then Forex Live says, just like they said Theresa May's deal wouldn't be renegotiated, does anyone really think the EU wouldn't grant an extension if Parliament votes this down? I think they would. Yeah. I have to say, I don't really understand a whole lot about the Brexit thing. Okay. But that said, I have to say kudos to Johnson for renegotiating the deal. They said forever that they weren't going to do that, and he got them to do it. And I don't know why there's all these people that are so skeptical, but like, look, guys, you in the UK, if any of you guys in the UK are listening, you have leverage. Because if you leave in a bad way, it screws everybody in the world over. And the world leaders, there's so much money that is going to be lost off of that. Once people thought that it was a serious thing that was going to happen, they will move heaven and earth to stop it. And that is leverage that you can use. And ignore these people that tell you that you don't have that you don't have any leverage, because you do. And kudos to Johnson for realizing that, pushing forward despite everything that everyone was saying, and getting a deal. And I don't know if it's a good deal or not, but all I know is that it would be really nice for them to get a deal and get it passed. So yeah. Here's a DUP put out a statement. It doesn't sound the proposals are not, in our view, beneficial to the economic well-being of Northern Ireland, and they undermine the integrity of the Union. So it sounds extremely... Well, if they need the DUP to go along with it to get it passed, then it's not going to happen. Just based off of that comment. Where is my thing?
YouTube Ace Trades 2 minutes.
This is to the E-mini open. Oh, we did have that news at 15, didn't we? Well, let's go and look at what that came out. Bum. It's Thursday. Why is it not this week? I don't know why it's being so weird. Okay. Industrial production was negative spot 4 versus a previous reading, or versus an expected reading of spot 1. And the capacity utilization rate was 77 spot 5 versus an expected 77 spot 7. So not particularly positive. They did move up a little bit there. You can see here there actually was an overextension to the upside. So maybe they can actually move down now. It does look like this has turned into a two-sided market today, at least. But there's still, sellers still seem to have a little bit of an edge.
Twitch, Dojo 2022. I just saw that Elijah Cummings died.
You just saw that? I'm surprised that people care so much about it. Honestly, if Donald Trump and Elijah Cummings hadn't have had that feud 3 months ago or whenever it was, would anybody care? Probably not. Did any of you guys even know who he was before that? I'm surprised that people care.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. I mean, dead politicians don't concern me. Twitch, Dojo 2022, there are a lot of people who were critical of him because he was always so wrapped up in everything except fixing his own district, which was a hole.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The way that I found out about it was reading the Donald subreddit just before getting in the shower this morning, and people saying, "Oh, now that he's gone, can we fix that district up now?" Yeah. Well, it's just, to me, some of these politicians that are so loud about some of these things, like especially the impeachment thing, like Schiff and who's that, Maxine Waters. Like, man, I would think that you would have better things to take care of, but it seems to me like that they're truly genuine, that they're just so triggered by whatever. Person like that probably shouldn't be a representative, but oh well. Oh well. So I am now getting a push here to the upside. It's much more significant than anything else in the session. And it's accompanied by a similar push in the 5-year. I think they'd want to push it into this range here. So I'm going to wait and see if they make it up into 30.
YouTube, Ecoreo, what are the green numbers on your screen?
The green numbers. Not sure what you're talking about. Do I even have anything on my screen that's green? Oh, the profit and loss? That's a weird, what, we should change that because we haven't taken any trades and I never. This right here.
YouTube, Ace Trades, profit and loss.
I've honestly been thinking about just getting rid of it so that I have more room for my beautiful face. I don't know. It was in fact, I am going to get rid of it. Unless there are some objections, I'm going to get rid of it. Because I thought that if I put it on there, that newer people would see it and be like, oh, he's doing well, etc., etc. But the honest truth is that people don't pay attention to it or care. So I'd say that was a failed experiment. I do think the big one was, like this. I think the biggest change that I made to my stream that I think helped was this thing, because like the market open. Because now when I start, there's usually at least 3 to 5 of you guys here. They can hear the opening blurb, and that's like the most important thing, I think the next thing that I want to add, and I'm hoping that I will have some time this weekend to work on it. Probably I should tomorrow. Although I'm going to need to record a new video tomorrow. Hey, look, it did turn down, but it was so fast. I should have taken that one. Oh, well. That might be the only good one they give us. I'm a little suspicious because it was too quick. Anyways, I want to make like a stinger intro sort of a thing. It'll be like, we take like the best clips or something from past streams and make like just a short like 10 to 30 second thing, that says like, live, unedited, unfiltered, day trading with speculator Seth, sort of a thing. And then it would say, stream will start shortly. And then it would go into that thing. And that way, people that are watching the video on YouTube on replay will see something at the very beginning that will help them understand what they're looking at. That, oh, this is got this guy's live stream. It's like the whole session. And, oh, there's going to be a little spot at the beginning where 20 minutes at the beginning where it's just waiting. And then I need to add a little integration. I think I can add an integration every day that will skip to the start of the video. It's a lot of, well, it's not a lot of work, but, it's kind of a little annoying thing that I don't want to have to do, but I think I should do it. And I think that would help the new people, because I'm noticing that we get really good viewership and engagement on the daily videos, but they aren't translating into new subscribers as much as I would prefer. There's a lot of people that do similar sort of a thing, and they don't get nearly as many views or engagement, but they actually have more subscribers than myself. And so I think that I need to put more stuff at the beginning to tell people to, this is what it is, and you should like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. The White House advisor Kudlow says there's a lot of cooperation over U.S.-China trade pact.
YouTube, Ace Trades, going to get a short signal soon at 3002.25.
Well, we're getting a little bit of a divergence between treasuries, right? They're moving down, I think possibly because the E-mini moved up a little bit, but the E-mini didn't move up that much and they turned very aggressively. So is the treasuries going to retrace this now? I think they should move up a little bit at least. I'm still really hesitant to trade this though. Like the liquidity is just not good.
YouTube, Ace trades too fast, I missed it.
So they did pull back a little bit, but they only gave like a tick and then they come down. And they're pushing down pretty hard. Okay.
YouTube, wrong ZH, yes.
Oh, Ace saying that it was too fast. Where was that? That was your short. So it is that there
YouTube,
is some
wrong
buying
ZH,
pressure.
GM.
There is some buying pressure. I'm wondering if they're going to give us a good spot to go short in the 10-year.
YouTube, Ace trades at wrong ZH morning. YouTube, ace trades, yeah, it keeps pushing up.
Okay. So do we have any other... Okay, natural gas storage. So not much else going on today that we need to worry about. Huh.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, ZB moving up with it.
Okay, so now I'm just thinking back to yesterday and remembering that I should have done this. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. So that tells me something already. I wish there was an easier way to do this. Okay. So at 24.5 there, they touched the previous session's low.
YouTube, IQ, next TGT 159 to 20 area ZB.
The open was at 21.5. The opening range was here. So did they make that new high was after the opening range? Tough to tell. It was. Technically, you could consider that push was all the way to the top. So that does favor selling for us. Maybe some stops there at 27 when they pushed up. I don't think that they expected to trade 27 so quickly. There's a stack there at 26.5. But an iceberg as well. See, now I'm thinking, well, if I want to go short for another push down, that would be a good place. But one, they did bounce off of that 24.5 pretty hard. And two, it kind of seems a little too obvious to me. Which makes me think, and especially since there's an iceberg there, it makes me think that they want to go through it a little bit first and maybe come back to 28, for instance. Come back to the VWAP first before they try and make another push down. Kind of going off the game theory here, okay. I am getting a push in the ZB as well. That push is happening after they already touched the 160.01. So I think I should wait and try and let the pressure go through. Finally got my back to loosen up and pop. That feels good. Oh, where's my Twitter?
YouTube, wrong ZH. It's amazing I come here communicate or most of time listening and get new setup ideas.
Yeah, I think that's part of the point. I really think that the involvement in a community can increase your chances of success. Not because you steal ideas from other people or anything like that. I think that it gives you the will to keep pushing. It can give you ideas. We're social creatures, and trading is supposed to be a social activity. Honestly, you think about it, in the pits, some of the people, their edge was just being able to read people and tell if what they were doing was, if they were lying or not. They put a bid or an offer up if they really wanted it or not. You could read people sometimes and know that they were lying and that they actually wanted to sell it or whatever the deal was, So, if trading is all about reading the market psychology and how people are feeling and things like that, how are you going to be successful at that all by yourself, never talking to anybody? I played at ES Open before they showed me the door. Still not convinced by shorts, says Alligator. Russia scraps carbon trading system, pollution penalties after uproar from businesses. I bet. Lindsey Graham, we've lost a very good man with the passing of Elijah Cummings. Elijah was passionate and kind. He made a difference for the people of Maryland and the nation. Did he? Did he now? He was a friend and a person you could do business with. My prayers go out to Elijah's family and friends. Well, it looks like I'm going to miss this one again. The thing is I would have gotten 2 ticks off of that, but now it's being difficult again. And I don't think I would have gotten filled either. I'm curious. See, tick back up. Now having trouble making it back up at 26, but it is going bid. See, the area is a little too fishy. I don't think I can take a trade. I wonder, is there an example of a place in the world with carbon trading system where it's really been successful? Because my opinion is that creating an artificial market of that nature is not going to end well. And I'm not quite exactly sure how it turns out, but I can almost guarantee that there's going to be some sort of unforeseen consequence that makes it a really bad idea at making an artificial market like that. Okay, so now 26 half goes bid. So you got 2 ticks off of it off of a false breakdown, and now it's pushing back up. And ZB is coming back up. That's odd. This is definitely not acting normal today. That one sell that they had at 29 was a good one, though. Okay, well, they're still giving you 26 half and not pushing further.
YouTube, wrong ZH. Sometime it's just happens I come up with something new. I think like you say getting involved is a key part. I can think better and actively.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that I do better when talking. I think that if for some reason I wasn't able to stream anymore, you know, like the CME came in and said, "Yeah, you can't do that." I would still talk to myself like this. Because I think I think it helps. I think especially for me with ADHD, one of the problems in ADHD is you want to act immediately and your mind's voice isn't as strong. And so I think that saying everything out loud and narrating it as you go kind of helps. Well, I'm just not a, ugh. It sure seems like that the only real available option here is to short 26 half, but it just didn't quite operate quite right when it was there. It still seems to be suggesting to me that they could bust 27 half if they wanted to. But the thing that's happening now is they traded 26 half down and now they're stacking a decent amount on top of it. Important to know, it is not up to Junker to give an extension or not, but this is a clear sign EU leaders are willing to put pressure on the MPs to avoid one. Listening back to full clip with me, Andy Bell, 5 News, and Matt Frey, Junker asked 3 times, first to me, then to Matt, are you going to rule out an extension? JCJ, that is what I was just saying. Q, you will rule out an extension? JCJ, yes. So they're trying to force them to take this deal, I think. See, so they're getting some people to hit into 26 half. That offer's not pulling away. I'm getting a push. There's relatively higher interest at the moment in ZB. They might be trying to buy it. If so, according to Brian York's sources, it didn't work. House Intelligence Chair Adam Schiff pressed Ukraine amigo Kurt Volker to admit knowledge of an explicit quid pro quo demand. The Ukrainians didn't want to be drawn into investigating a Democratic candidate for president, which would mean only peril for Ukraine. Is that fair to say? Schiff asked Volker. That may be true, Volker said. They didn't express that to me, and of course, I didn't know that was the context at the time. Volker had said he did not know that Trump had mentioned the Bidens on the 25th July call with Zelensky until the rough transcript was released. Part of the other context is vital military support is being withheld from Ukraine during this period, right? Schiff asked. That was not part of the context at the time, Volker said, at least to my knowledge. They were not aware of that. This did not sit well with Schiff, who wanted to connect the dots through Volker. If the Ukrainians didn't know that aid had been withheld, of course, then it's impossible for it to have been used in a quid pro quo by Trump, especially in the Zelensky phone call. That puts a serious dent in the impeachment hypothesis under which the House Democrats have been operating since the exposure of the whistleblower complaint, and it leaves Schiff in particular out on a very shaky limb, having curated the complaint in the first place. This is an article from Hot Air from Ed Morrissey. At one point, an exasperated Schiff remarked at Volker, "You're making this much more complicated than it has to be." I can't believe he freaking said that. You gotta be kidding me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, Schiff is such an idiot. Oh, 400 they bought there. Look, I don't know how I knew that, but there's just something fishy about that area. It was like, it's too obvious. It's too obvious to sell it here. Okay. Back to the story. That might be a case of projection, considering the box in which Schiff found himself in this exchange, making the problem worse. Volker testified that the idea of pursuing the Bidens had been dropped by both sides by the time the Ukrainians read that the aid had been held up. Schiff argued that the timing didn't matter, but Volker said in the context of the U.S.-Ukrainian relationship had shifted fundamentally by that time. Congress, this is why I'm trying to say the context is different, because at the time they learned that, if we assume it's August 29th,
YouTube
they had just had a visit from National Security Advisor John Bolton. That's a high-level meeting already. He was recommending and working on scheduling the visit of President Zelensky to Washington. We were also working on a bilateral meeting to take place in Warsaw on the margins of commemoration of the beginning of World War II. And in that context, I think Ukrainians felt like things were going in the right direction. And they had not done anything on an investigation. They had not done anything on a statement, and things were ramping up in terms of their engagement with the administration. So I think they were actually feeling pretty good then. To be fair, Schiff's point is still hypothetically valid. If the Ukrainians thought things were going well, the news that the aid had been suspended might have been rather shocking at that point. Might they not have thought that the reopening the Burisma probe would help get the aid unstuck? Republican Representative Scott Perry revisited this with Volker, who said no one in Ukraine connected one to the other, and that he would have known if they did. In your conversation with Representative Schiff, he kind of implied and wanted to intimate that there was an agreement based on that conversation that if you do the investigation, then you can have the meeting with Trump, and maybe we'll consider military aid. If that were the case from the call, do you feel, because they had some trust in you, that they would have come to you and said, hey, how do we handle this? Is this what the President of the United States is asking? Would they confide? Would they ask you that? Yes, said Volker, they would have asked me exactly that. How do we handle this? Before calling this path to a quid pro quo entirely closed, though, remember that Volker made a surprise appearance yesterday. Well, Michael McKinley testified in order to review his own testimony. That sometimes happens when a witness needs to correct their testimony in order to avoid perjury charges, although there may be other reasons to do it as well. If Volker does change this testimony, then perhaps Schiff might find some breadcrumbs, blah, 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 okay? Speaking of McKinley, It doesn't sound like Schiff got much there either. The 37-year-old state veteran decried the Trump administration's politicization of the department, but apparently had little to do with Ukraine. So, I mean, it's becoming more clear to me with this impeachment thing. You know, the Republicans really want it out in the open. I think that it's because the Republicans feel very confident that there's nothing there, and that having it out in the open would embarrass Democrats. I think that what they're working on. So it's pretty boring at 27.5. They're putting up bigger bids than offers still, but it's going back and forth a lot. I'm still preferring a short, but yeah, we're right here at the VWAP. It also would be interesting for them to come back up to the VWAP and not try and trade it, you know? Man, and everything, like even momentum and stuff seems to indicate that we're just kind of in a break-even spot. It's unusual for them to stop it without getting a little bit more momentum on the upside. Like maybe they could come up to 29 again. 29 was the open price, I think. Why is it showing me 1/2? So I don't know where it's getting that was the open, because it was not. 29 open. It did take that long. It's still right where it was. And I'm not, you know what? The activity level in the E-mini today is extremely low. Extremely low. So, not sure what to make of that. Okay, now I'm getting something.
YouTube Ace Trades. Yeah, it's a 1 point at a time day.
You bet.
YouTube Luis Alarid. Anyone you know going to speak at the Traders Expo Vegas November 7 to 9?
I didn't know anything about it. Maybe I should try and go. Is there anything, do you see anything interesting there that would make the trip worth it? Well, I'm not liking, I really wish that I had, when I saw that and they were giving me 27, and I thought, well, the spot is still 27.5. I should have taken that one.
Luis Alarid. Meet up.
Yeah, I would like to meet up. That would be great. But like, I don't know what other stuff did they show you at the expo, because like, if it's just you know, dozens of vendors selling, you know, NinjaTrader indicators or whatever, I don't know if I really want to do that. But if there's people that I can meet, you know, I guess it would very much depend on who else is going. But if all those, you know, big names that we know and interact with from time to time are there, I would love to meet them in person. And that would probably make it worth it. Otherwise, I'd just spend most of the time just yapping with people.
YouTube Ace Trades. Probably a bunch of guys selling stuff.
I mean, probably. I mean, what else would you do? Well, and certainly people giving presentations, let's say. Well, I feel really nervous about this trade just because I didn't get my price. But I'm still seeing, you know,
YouTube
could
Luis
fall down here
Alarid.
really
YouTube
quickly.
star Seth will attend.
Oh, there you go. They put my name on the thing. That'd be great. Nobody I'm not important enough for them to invite me, apparently. The funny thing is
YouTube IQ, they gonna have trade alongs X Woody's CCI etc. Viper.
Yeah, I hadn't checked it for a long time. Like, I used to check it a lot at the beginning. Like, when I first started, I was like, is anybody else doing this? And I couldn't find any YouTube channels. And now YouTube recommends stuff to me all the time. And there are other channels about trading that are way more popular than me. I saw this lady the other day. She posts videos. She gets about, I want to say 50, 60 views a day. And she has 4,000 subscribers. So I was like, I get more views, but she has way more subscribers. How did she get those subscribers? And when I see that, I tend to like to go through their videos and be like, okay, so is there a video where, like, you know, these videos don't have a whole lot of views, and then all of a sudden these ones started having a ton more or anything like that? And they didn't. And so I'm just kind of a little like, okay, how did she do that? I would really like to know, because it kind of contradicted a lot of what I thought about how you grow on YouTube, you know? But yeah, I'm
YouTube
still
ace
quite
trades,
small.
that chick. She doesn't have an ace, however.
She doesn't have an ace. And there's a couple, because I know there's this one lady that was like responsible day trading, I think. She posted in the Facebook group a lot. Not that girl. Not that girl. I think that she has more subscribers than me too, though. But she was posting in those Facebook groups like every day. Oh my gosh. It was kind of her posting in there that kind of made me be like, you know what? There's not really anything all that interesting going on in these groups. Anyways, no, but it was somebody else. I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up so you guys can look. You can tell me what you think. They're still being pretty tepid. It was called Trade with Resolve. It's called Trade with Resolve. She has 4,000 viewers. Most of her viewers don't get all that much, but there is one of her videos that has 1,000 views, which for just like a daily summary video of your trading is really good. And here's the other thing, and this is why I think I need to get a stinger video at the beginning, is you look at most of these guys, they're not actually trading live. They say that it's live trading, and it is recorded live, but it's not the full thing. So what they do is they trade, and then if they have a good trade that day, then they show you that, which is absolutely terrible way of doing it, right? I tell you something, listen, and you guys all know this, so I'm not telling you anything new, but just, rant to make me feel good while we're waiting for this to move. It is not the winners. I tell you what, finding a strategy that can give you some winners from time to time is not that hard. Here, I'll give you a strategy. Close your eyes and click a button, and then just wait and stay in it forever. That can give you a really big winner, but it's random, and there's no real strategy to it, right? No. It's not the winners that matters. It's one, the probability, your win rate, and two, how you handle the losers. When your strategy doesn't work, how do you handle it? And all of these people, they never show that. It's completely useless to their viewers, I think. So that's why I wanted to make a stinger video that's like, hey, listen, this is like the whole thing. Unedited, raw. The good, the bad. The good, the bad, the profitable. I'm getting two. It's not enough. I'm not getting another. So sometimes when they give you a two and then you see it and they flip it again. Ooh, it gave me a really strong sell signal. because it did it across all three. Okay, strong downtick that time. Is the E-mini gonna break that high? No.
YouTube IQ ZBCR equals 18 and at open 03 MKT and nothing doing zone bias to DS.
So I thought that last downtick was good, but it appears, well, that might be a lure at 26, but it looks like that they might be able to make 26 go bid again. So it kind of cancels it out, doesn't it? And there's too much sitting there at 25.5. There you go. So it goes bid. Okay. Well, that uptick was a little too quick there at 26.5. That's make me feel nervous. Kind of, was that maybe pulling the rug out from some people and trying to get some stops? And yet it goes bid. Well, we're still within the time period that it could be okay, but well, now that it's 500, I really don't like that. Really don't like that, guys. So it tells me that we're still stuck in a range. So the top of the range is 27. And I may still yet be right, but they might try and pop it out of the top for some more. And the E-mini is still not. Well, they did make a new high, but they're kind of backing off now. U.S. moving to diplomatic solutions on Turkey, Gidley says. Okay, that was a reasonably okay downtick. I guess we're also in this situation where it's all on the 5-year again. You got to sell through 29 basically. I mean, if it went, then I think it could be really good, but well, I'm handling this one better than some of these other trades that I've made recently. I'm not feeling like total panic when it came back up on me, for instance. I was just kind of like, well, that's unfortunate. The reason Elizabeth Warren is being vague about a healthcare plan, her team hasn't yet figured out how to pay for it. The story from Bloomberg. Level 2's dancing a little bit. 700 by 700, 700 by 800. 5-year not doing much of anything. Actually, that was good. A little bit of a pull there, 29. And not enough. It might be throttling. Okay. Flipped. Downtick. Cool. All it took was for it to flip and they downtick too. That's good. But not hold. 29 is going to be harder than that, right? See some aggressive hitting into 28 3/4. No trades there yet. See, the 10-year seems to be more interested in selling it than the 5-year does. Fortunately. E-mini, maybe they're going to go for it. No. It's like anytime that I see that level, that moving up, and I'm like, hey, maybe they're going to push it further. And then they don't do anything and it ticks back down. Uptick a little too easy for them to uptick at 26.5. It's just the range there. So they could come back up here so easy. But there's not really the interest in selling it. E-mini's losing a little bit. There's a little bit of buying at 29.25, but they're not holding the bid very well. The 10-year doesn't seem to want to go. Also, it should also be watching that 30-year. 30-year is just like bored. Oh, actually, they tick down. Okay. It's not super great. There's probably that 160, yeah. At 160 even. Well, 26 is more balanced now than it was. Where's my... Yes. Okay. We are getting more volume here at 26 than we did in the previous 15 minutes. Was at 27.5. So that's good. Cumulative delta isn't actually moving. Not in the 10-year at least. Okay, now the 5-year is pushing.
YouTube Ace Trades, just a chop fest.
Well, maybe over in equities. Over here, it's just boring as all get out. Yeah, okay, so with that, I think we should take it off. Burn it. That feels awful, 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 awful. We're getting squeezed hard, guys. Okay. Squeezed hard as the E-mini fell back down to the 3005 level. Man, I felt like I had such a... Wow, I knew that I was one off, but still... That's really disappointing. I mean, if they come back down there, then they could really run it. It could be a false breakout, but... I don't know. This doesn't feel good. Okay. 5 year maybe already saying that that's too much. $8.29. So now there's too much volume going through here. Too much, that is, to really know what's going on. Well, they seem more interested now that they've ticked up, though. I suppose that's a bad thing, huh? Guys. It's like they know. They just want to squeeze me out first, and then maybe they come. Well, I don't think that one was a misread. I think it just didn't happen to work out that time. Because, I mean, everything generally worked the way that it was supposed to.
YouTube Ace Trades. I'm about done for the day. Off tomorrow and Monday. Is the market open Monday?
I think so. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I don't know if I'm going to trade much at all next week, though. Even this, that was, I thought, a great trade. Good, great setup. And it's failing. I may need to wait until next month to put any risk on the table. The idea the EU leaders could tonight rule out any further Brexit extension. That's the headlines I'm seeing. You're just getting a whole lot of nothing again. I mean, sometimes nothing is good. Like, that means that they've run out of buyers or whatever and that it's going to turn back. But I think in this situation, it just means that it could do anything. Hmm. Well, that's a little bit better of a downtick, but the 5 year still doesn't seem to be suggesting that it wants to sell. In fact, nobody's selling at 30 and a quarter. Oh, there's four. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. You're not helping. Well, maybe if they went too far there, they might be able to buy that back up, but they're kind of eyeing the low. Oh boy. There's a decent amount absorbing on the offers, though. Yeah, they're going to stop me out. I just cannot catch a break this week, can I, guys? If I take an even one live or sim that worked out. He's trying to squeeze me. Just in case, but I think that he's trying to squeeze me, so come on. Man, it's a super slow market. Okay. $28 half stacked, 500 on it. Then now it just pulled. Shit. Let's wait here. That was an odd stack. Is he pushing it up, or was it a spoof? Well, I mean, they absorbed a certain amount at 29. I wonder if there's a headline out there. I mean, that looked an awful lot like a headline because they broke out the area and then they were like desperate to buy more. Hmm. There's a big iceberg there. So I don't think it was spoofing or anything.
Twitch, Dojo 2022, implied volatility in the SPOOs is really low. Can't somebody tweet something?
It's really low, but they're pushing the lower end of the session. They could start selling here. They could start selling hard. There's certainly somebody buying it in the Treasury, right? It was quiet. They started squeezing us. After they squeezed it, then all of a sudden they really wanted to buy it. Well, they're not holding 29 though. They're not hitting into 29.5. So it could be nothing. That behavior, though, in the past week has been behavior that we've seen before headlines. And then, like a few seconds later, we see it on Twitter, you know? I don't know. There was one time where it was a spoof, right? But when it was a spoof, they completely went through it. This one, they hit into it. There was stuff there. Hmm. Hmm. See the 5-year there? Not taking 31.25. There again. Thinking about it, but then not doing it. It was actually 17 there at one point. Oh, look, now 1,500. Strong stack at 29. 31.25 not holding a bid yet, though.
YouTube, Luis Alarid, NYSE is not closed on Monday. Next holiday will be Thanksgiving.
Yep, it's only a holiday for your kids, Ace. The rest of us have to work. You know, those of us with jobs. Gosh. Yeah, if the 5-year could stack a huge bid at 31 half and take out, or sorry, 31 and a quarter and take out 31 half, I would really appreciate it.
YouTube, Ace Trades, when is Columbus Day?
No, Columbus Day was Monday. You were here, weren't you? No, you weren't here. Yeah, Columbus Day was Monday. Okay, there's an uptick. It's okay. 31 and a half holding 500 now. One order hit 31 and a half. They try to make 31 and a quarter go off her.
YouTube, Ace Trades, the only reason you have a job is because you keep volunteering for a job.
Could be. Could be. I was thinking about like my indicator. Like if I could sell my indicator for not my indicator, my indicators for $100, I think that's a fair price for the 5 indicators. I think that's fair. And I could sell 100 of them, and that'd be $10,000. Then that would make all of the effort worth it. But I really don't want to become a salesman. That's the problem. I just don't want to. I feel like that becoming a salesman undermines everything else that we're doing here. You know what I mean? If I could pay somebody else to sell it for me, that would be great. But and I'm just not so sure that you generate enough income beyond that, for it to be a living. And there's just another thing. Is this whole thing past few weeks, I really don't think I can handle.
YouTube, Ace Trades, and I need to figure out how to monetize my calls. Lol.
There you go. Trade service. Oh, look at that. That was a good stack at 30. I feel like it would be too much stress for this to be my sole source of income. You know what I mean? That's what I've decided. I've decided that trading will never be my sole source of income. I don't think I can handle the stress. So I think there's always gotta have to be something else. But I would really love for this something else to be making videos and writing. I think that's the thing that I enjoy more is making videos and talking to you guys and sharing ideas and information that I don't think anybody else out there is doing. Well, so far this has been a pretty strong trend, guys. I think that there was somebody short that we were following, and his short just didn't work out. I think that's what happened on that one. So there is an iceberg at 30 half. Yeah, it's a pretty big iceberg. Still haven't seen like news. This was acting like there was news. Or like the E-mini was just careening out of control. They still haven't gone down for that low. That 3,000 level. If they start failing that 3,000 level, then maybe things could get a little more hairy. Okay, so there's a huge order at 30 half. That probably means, oh, okay, maybe not. I guess I gotta let them play it out. Often that shows up when a large player thinks that the swing is over, but they were ticking it back up and keeping it at 30. Are they going to hit into that 30 half now? Oh, one brave soul to buy 30 half. Okay, E-mini is falling now. I wonder if there's going to be a collision here. Okay, somebody did buy it, but nothing pulled. So I think that could mean that the offer is real. We might see a collision. There's the collision. It wasn't a big order that took it. The largest order that was in there was 900. Good deal. Okay, so because there was a collision, there could be more in this. So as much as I really don't want to be sitting here, I think I have to hold it. Look at the E-mini is unhappy. After they broke that 33,000, they're unhappy. Now there's the pivot at 29.9650. So now they're going to play this game like, oh, maybe we're going to pivot here or maybe not. But the way the treasuries are acting, well, let's just remember this was like 5K right here, right? Yeah, so there are ways you can monetize. There are like websites that you can use as to generate your own signal calling service. There's like actually a bunch of them. I don't know if they're terribly popular and if you would make a ton of money off of it, but I have to say though, with as small, like the target that you're catching is so small, I don't necessarily think that it would be something that I want the world to follow because it gets, it's so reliable. You get too many people piling in on that. Like, and it wouldn't have to be, I think that maybe let's say you get like 500 people or something piling into that, then I think that the edge would go away. Maybe not even 500. Maybe it would only take like 150. Like about half to a full amount of a tick on of the liquidity on the ES. So they're offering up 300 right now. So I think if 300 people did it, then I think that might ruin the edge. Okay, so there was the collision at 30 half.
YouTube Ace Trades agreed. I was just kidding. Wouldn't want to leave this home here.
I gotcha. There was the good collision there and everything, but there's some people hitting into 30 now as well. So, they could just be looking for more. I don't know. This could go south on us very quickly though. So I'm a little nervous. Even he's still selling. Getting a click. No big deal with that one. Well, there was 1334 pulled off of 30 half at one point. I didn't pay attention to when that click was. Come on, ES, you want to break it. Go back to 29.92.75. That would be a great place to be.
Twitch, haha when haha epic. Is this Microsoft Excel?
No, it's not Microsoft Excel. Come on, Microsoft Excel doesn't look nearly this cool, does it? That certainly is the point, though. Listen, that's the strategy, guys. You make your screen look like Microsoft Excel. Get as many numbers on there as possible. As many numbers on there as
YouTube
possible.
Ace Trades, head and hands Twitch.
So
Twitch, haha when haha epic. What is it?
Ace.
Twitch, Serastream, love to see a fellow trader. I've currently made $57,000 this year already. How's it going for you?
Hey, that's really great, Syra. Would you be able to show us statements showing that? I would really like to see that because of course you gotta, if you send us that, make sure that you like blank out stuff so that nobody tries to steal your account or anything. But first of all,
Twitch, Serastream, yeah, made. How so?
But first of all, it's good because then it's really
how would I send it?
Oh, sure. So you could either do, well, so I have a Discord. And probably the best thing is to click on the Discord link down in the video description, or I forget where it is on Twitch, but there's a Discord link in there, and you can go on the Discord and just say something in one of the chat, like in the lobby, and then I'll give you permissions to put pictures up, and you could put that picture up, and it would do it that way. But it's nice to see, not only because then it proves to everybody that you actually did it, but then it's nice to see, okay, what is he trading and how's he doing? If you don't mind me
asking, how much have you made from trading alone?
So from trading
YouTube
alone,
Ace Trades. Wow, I have made a bazillion this year, and I went to the moon and used the bathroom there. Twitch, haha and haha epic. How much do you make?
So I don't make very much at all. So I'm trading extremely small for starters. So, and then I've gone back and forth. Like at one point I was up like $800 and then I lost it. And I think after my, the thing is I really believe in my strategy, and I think that we have a lot of data to say that it works. But there's two problems. One is that there are some situations where I just don't know that I shouldn't be trading, and I do anyways. And then the other one is that I have impulsivity problems. I think
about money, bro.
It's okay. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is to
Twitch, haha and haha epic. Shut up.
It's okay. Ace. We're trying to be open about it, right? Ace has been around for a long time and is very, very good. He is way better at this than I am. But I think I have some impulsivity problems still. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I think
Twitch,
right now...
at RestreamBot, are you accusing me of lying?
That RestreamBot is accusing you of lying. No, it's...
YouTube Ace Trades. No, you shut up.
No. But yeah, if you can post a move, then we'll believe you. But 57 in a year is not bad. Not bad at all. That's really impressive. I'd really like to see it.
Trades. Yes, I am straight up calling you a liar.
Oh, yes.
Twitch, haha and haha epic. Burn the knickers.
No, don't do that. So, yeah, we're pretty skeptical because we have people come in that are full of crap all the time. But especially when that's the first thing that they come in and say, that is a little suspicious, dude. So I'll tell you.
Twitch, haha and haha epic. How long have you been doing it today?
So we're coming up on 2.5 hours now. I've got to get going here. So normally we stop the stream at 8:30, but Twitch, I've been in this trade forever.
I have proof. I own large Instagram pages. Also, if you don't believe me, I can always direct message you from those laughing face.
Sure. Or you could tweet
Ace
it.
Trades, and anyone who says burn the knickers is a poser.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you could tweet it. You could tweet it at me, the Speculator Seth on Twitter. But
YouTube, Luis Alarid, I made $1 trillion today, I got you beat.
That's the whole thing, is usually the guys that come in here that actually end up being proving that they're really good are usually like super low key about it at first. They come in and they're like, okay, let's see if this guy is just trying to sell things, or if this is actually a place where I can make friends.
Twitch, Stream, send me your ad on Insta if you don't believe me.
So I don't really have an official Instagram.
YouTube Ace Trades at Luis Alarid. Nice, but did you take a dump on the moon?
Did you take a dump on the moon? Oh, guys, you're killing me. I want to hold this straight, but I'm not getting what I need to see.
YouTube Ace Trades. No thanks. I'm not a 16-year-old girl.
Instagram. You say Instagram's only for 16-year-old girls? Listen, if you like to look at not 16-year-olds, you got to be like
Twitch,
18.
Haha and haha epic boobies.
Oh, maybe you can get Instagram with being only 16. But yeah, Instagram is for boobies, dude. Why would you? You know, I was watching like these YouTube videos, and then they're like, you should try to increase your engagement through Instagram,
Twitch,
and I'm like,
Ace Trades clearly doesn't make much money.
Where is this audience of traders on Instagram? Like,
Twitch, haha and haha epic boobies 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 boobies.
So I like her annotation at the end.
But we'll buy a ticket to the moon when Elon sell them.
We'll buy tickets when Elon sells them. Exactly, dude. He's gonna do it. He's gonna. You know what the cool thing about this is gonna be? Is like, when they finally do it, okay, when you can go to the moon, if you notice that Elon Musk is always very like at the last second, you know, it was like when they were building that rocket, he was doing the conference for that Saturday, and they started putting the rocket together on Monday. Like they've been planning it and all this stuff, but then all of a sudden it goes up. So it'll be like we'll just be sitting here chilling, and then tomorrow Elon Musk is gonna be like, trips to the moon. We're doing it. Here it is. It's already built. We've been building it for the past year and you didn't even know. That's how it's going to happen. Well, they're still kind of dancing around 30.5, and I'm not seeing people buying into it again. But they're still offering it like that it's a possibility. I'm okay. So now the E-mini is starting to get a little scary. I'm still not getting buys though. Come on. Come on. What's going on? That was a really strong sell. I don't see any news on Twitter yet. I think I should just hold it. If I get that though, I want to take it. I'm gonna post my Patreon notes. Oh man, really? Really, guys? I just got this huge, ugly sell in the E-mini, and the treasuries are like, okay, whatever. Meh. Meh. Give me a break. Buyers again. Maybe they're just decided that there's not enough people left to buy. Thursday. Publish. No, we cannot. Because you're trying to abuse it. Okay, so now that I got everything out of the way, I can go back in here and look. I wish you the best, Ace. I'm sure you will make your first 5 figures one day. Oh, the trolls. I guess what I really think that most of these guys on Twitch just run around and are trolling channels because we keep getting trolls on Twitch, right? And we had that guy the other day. Come on. Can I catch a break here? How long do I have to sit in this? I gotta go, guys. You gotta pop it up for me. If you're gonna let me have one winner, if you please could, I would really appreciate it. You gotta do it now. Okay, well, I can set this. I need to at least get ready to go, so I'm gonna just let this sit here and I'll be right back. All right, guys. Well, it looks like this trade did not work out. So come on. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened there, but I'm really disappointed. Good trade, really didn't work out. Another really good spot, didn't really work out. What was the most that we ever got out of that? 3? Wow. I don't know. Things just not working out for us. I think that I should probably go into hiding for a bit. To sim for a bit, because I don't know if there's a lot of opportunity out there for us. All right. Well, anyways, guys, I gotta get going. I'll see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime,